If you're at a point in your life right now where maybe you feel stuck, maybe you feel scared, maybe you're lost, maybe you're unsure, maybe you're uncertain about the future or anxious about what's to come, realize that you're about to go on your hero's journey. Like, this is the part of your story where it's your turning point. Because the fact that you feel all those things despite how negative it might seem, understand that it's actually a good thing because number one, you're cognizant of your position on the board. And number two, it means that you haven't given up yet. You haven't resigned yourself or your fate to your circumstances or your situation. And that feeling right there is going to be the catalyst for the beginning of your journey and the end of what you once thought was everything. You're stepping into the part of the story that's the exact same thing that shaped everyone else's story that's made it to the other side. And listen, right, as a guy trying to make it in the world, especially if you're young and you have ambition, goals, and aspirations, it can become real easy to feel like you're a spectator in life just watching the world and everything pass by you. Whenever your reality doesn't match your expectations, that's when all the depression, anxiety, or feelings of being lost or hopeless, that's when it all gets to you. And for most people, right, most average guys in your 20s to 30s or maybe even a bit older, that's going to be the case when you're building the foundation for your life. You see, a lot of people stay in their comfort zones and routines because it's comfortable, right? It's easy to stay in those comfortable routines and just look for escapisms at every corner whenever you feel those negative feelings. You subconsciously think that by avoiding those momentary sufferings and negative feelings, you're going to run from it forever. And unfortunately, that's just not true. It's going to come get you one way or another. And I know that's not you because number one, you wouldn't have clicked on this video, and number two, you probably wouldn't be listening right now. Based on analytics, 30 to 40% of you should be gone right now. So the fact that you still have that internal struggle means that to some degree, you still see yourself as the hero of your own story. Because you are the hero, it's your story. Not who you watch, not who you see on your Instagram or social media, not who you follow, not me, just because you're watching me through a screen right now. Like, I'm just a signpost that's trying to push you in a certain direction. No matter what, you are always going to be the main character of your life. It's not being conceited, it's not thinking that the world revolves around you in any way, it's just taking full agency of your life. And this should apply to you if you feel extremely discontent watching other people live their lives and achieve their goals, right? That's something that makes you feel something deep down inside. Like, it makes you think that I could be doing more. And it's not necessarily that it makes you feel jealousy, but when someone else is doing something that you should be doing, like, it's not even necessarily what they're doing, but more so how they're living their life. But when you see other people going down a certain path that you should be doing, it shines a light or reflects a mirror on our inadequacies. And that's when all those negative feelings come up, and you don't try to hide from that feeling. It's something that you think about in the back of your mind all the time. And it might sound obvious, right? Like, yeah, of course I'm living my life. Of course I'm the hero of my own story. Of course I'm the main character of my life. Most people understand this, but most people don't live like it. It's a reason why streaming has become so popular. It's a reason why people watch streams for hours on end. It's why people look up to influencers, celebrities, athletes, or try to live vicariously through their lives. And in a way, it's a form of externalizing control over your own life. And it's because there's a part of them that deep down inside wishes that they were those people to a certain degree. Every single person, whether it's me or whether it's you, your siblings, your family, your peers, your friends, every single person comes to a point in their life where they have to make a decision. You come to this crossroads where you have to make a decision that drastically changes your life in a significant way. And when that time comes, you're going to have to leave most of what you once knew, and you're never going to be ready for it. You're never going to feel ready to embark on that journey, which is why most people go the other direction out of fear, procrastination, anxiety, and then there's also a group of people that go through it regardless. The people that come to that crossroads and say, "F it, we ball." But there's also a third group of people who are stuck at that crossroads, where you haven't necessarily given up, but you're kind of paralyzed by that fear or uncertainty or that negative emotion. You haven't necessarily convinced yourself to go for it, but you know that there's something more. There's something pushing you in that direction. And this journey is actually something that we subconsciously romanticize all the time. Like, for example, think about why you watch anime, or why you play certain games, or why you're obsessed with a certain sports player. It's because you get to vicariously go on this journey without actually having to go through it in your real life, but still get that feeling. Like anime, right? When you really think about it, it's the exact same story every single time. It's the main character, he's weak, he's the underdog, he's a nobody, but he's the protagonist, and he's about to go on this journey to level up. And through their journey, they go through all types of trials and tribulations and go quite literally from zero to hero. And what makes you fall in love with their journey is the storyline, right? Or when you play video games, your character that you build goes through that journey. You know, you fight monsters, you fight other players, you level them up, you raise his stats. You know, you customize your character or you give him a certain appearance, which is a direct reflection of your personality or your style. And to a certain degree, you wish you were that character. You wish that you look like that character. Or let's say you're a sports fan, right? You watch your favorite player get drafted, you watch their rookie season, you go to their games, you buy their jersey, etc. You know, you might argue about him in the comment section of some YouTube videos or social media. Every single guy romanticizes the hero's journey, whether you're aware of it or not, because it's a masculine experience. Not trying to be an asshole, but it's true. If Naruto or Goku was a girl, 0 ratings. It's just that not every guy is willing to go on their journey. You know, it's funny, I remember when I was in elementary school, there was this game that everyone played called MapleStory. If you were an Asian American growing up in the 2000s, you probably heard of that game or probably played it yourself. Which, by the way, as an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid in elementary school, logging online on a Friday night with your crush in class was like the best thing ever. You know, you guys are hanging out, chatting, going on quests, training together, fighting monsters. Bro, it was fun. And it really was the journey that made that game so fun, because you literally start as a level 1 beginner fighting snails. And leveling up was a grind. You would quite literally train and do quests and fight monsters for weeks on end just to go up 1 level. But that's what made it fun, right? Even though there really was no point other than to flex your level. And I remember when I was in middle school, the game stopped being fun and the game's popularity died because it became too easy to level up. Because no one really respects a journey that's easy. No one really wants to watch or live vicariously through a journey that goes through no trials or tribulations. And again, what makes it a hero's journey is the fact that the hero starts from 0, starts from nothing, and then goes through all those struggles to become what he is. Like, people think that finding yourself is this one moment of realization or epiphany about finding yourself and who you are and your true calling and everything you're meant to be. When in reality, that's not how it works. Your identity isn't found in a single moment, but it's forged through an arduous path. All the negative experiences, all the trials and tribulations, you have to understand that no, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. Like, those experiences can either be your biggest downfall or your biggest reasons in life. And bro, way too many people use those negative experiences to define themselves by, to define their entire life. You gotta think to yourself like, no, this is the part of the story where I overcome the struggle, because it wouldn't be called a hero's journey otherwise. Remember, you are the hero of your story, not anyone else, so make sure that you're living as if you are.